I've learned what certain things mean. So, to be born again, to be born renewed, one must be baptized with water and with spirit. Another term in place of spirit would be fire. So water and fire. And the earth has already been renewed through the flood, water, and now it must go through the renewal of fire. So there's an outer shadow of what happens within. So people go get baptized by submerging themselves in a river, a stream, a lake, some a bathtub, and they expect to speak in tongues or have some sign of the spirit. A lot of them will interpret like feeling like a new man, which when you change all your habits, you automatically feel like a new man. But they see that as the spirit. And it is the movement of spirits. You've swapped spirits within yourself that you're willing to embody. So you are renewed in a sense. So it's not wrong. It's not wrong to get baptized by water. But these are shadows of the actual event. When you are baptized by water and by spirit, you will have experience in vision or in dream where you enter this water and everything is perfect and wonderful. You don't feel resistance as you walk through the water, like normally when you walk through a river or stream or you walk around in a wading pool. You feel that resistance. You're working against the waves. But when you're in this water, this living water, you don't feel that. And when you feel it in your body, it's like you are made of nothing but fresh air. And that's what it feels like. Like when you breathe in fresh air, it feels like your whole body is made up of a breath of fresh air. And so that's what that living water, that baptism is, that submersion in the living water. And then the fire or spirit renewing, rebirthing, is literal. The spirit comes in and starts reconstructing your neural pathways, which starts to reconstruct the way your body works. And you start to experience things like there was a block. Little boys, you could give them exceptions, you could make excuses for them, you could empathize with them. But a grown man who has shown romantic interest in you, he cannot have those mercies. Like there's a wall, there's a barrier there. And then all of a sudden, that barrier's gone. And you can start to attribute redeemable qualities where you could not before. So it's a very, you rewire not you, but you participate in it by willingness to embrace new perceptions of things. So if for example, there was that separation in the mind where you could be compassionate in one circumstance, but in another circumstance, that same person couldn't receive compassion. You're changing the neural pathways, which means you're changing your DNA. And so it's a very, very real renewing, rebirthing by fire. That fire is the burning away of resistance, whatever excuse, whatever reason, whatever genetic memory, whatever genetic programming created that, required that, has been reversed. And I recently learned that as I was given to understand what's natural is the path of least resistance. So you watch out in nature, things wake up from sleep and they stretch, and then they poke around a little bit, and then they go looking for whatever's primary on their mind. Socialization, reaffirming connections within the pack, playing, stuff like that, eating. There's a natural rhythm. It's the path of least resistance. They just go with, woo, this is where we're going. But when you take and you condition something out of that resistance or into resistance, you change the natural course that they would take. It only becomes natural that they would cringe into a ball and look around and not make a move until they absolutely knew everything was safe. That's only natural. What do you mean you're going to get up and stretch? That's unnatural. You could wake up, poke your arm out, and somebody cut it off. That's unnatural. What's wrong with you? No, it is natural to get up and stretch, get a sense of your body and who you are and what you're doing and what comes next. And so you actually change the nature of something. You change the genetics, the DNA. And that is the difference between sin and iniquity. Iniquity means you have changed the nature of it. Similarly, when they took wild foxes and they bred them in captivity, the next litter looked like foxes, behaved like foxes, but the next generation, they had floppy ears and they had spots. They didn't look like foxes and they didn't act like foxes. They changed the DNA. They changed the very nature. They caused iniquity. That is a sign of iniquity in a fox. If you see a fox that's spotted with floppy ears and it's acting like a little dog, that is a fox that has iniquity in it. And so we have to have the iniquity within us changed, our nature. So what is only natural to people who are full of iniquities is not going to be natural to somebody who has had that iniquity reversed. And so the person who has had iniquity reversed, who has been reborn, it's going to be unnatural to behave like 99.9% of the human beings around them. And so this is the significance of the baptism, because if you take a little fox with floppy ears and little colorful spots and you put it in with a bunch of, they're getting torn, that it's not going to survive, it's not going to live. And so it is with those of us without iniquity going into a pack of those with iniquity, and those with iniquity coming into a pack of people without iniquity. It's going to be obvious. It's going to, like, it does not belong, it is wrong, it is unnatural, it's going to have to go. And it's the same thing with a pack of, if you take a wild fox and throw it in with a pack of spotted ones, that wild fox is going to be the different one. Although the ones with iniquity, the spots, because they're so socialized, they're going to try and they're going to expect that fox to be friendly, and they're going to sniff at it and try and make friends with it, and then they'll turn on it if it's not going to integrate into the group. But it's just funny how iniquity just readily, it's conditioned against its nature to accept something that's different. It's weird. But you get the point. This baptism in water and then in spirit or in fire is just, you have no concept of what it is until you experience it. And that's why it is so vague. And why so many people are dissatisfied with getting into physical water and speaking in tongues, because there's no resistance to it. It's different. Okay, then that must be it. No, it's not it. That may happen to you as an initial bling, but you're not living in it. You're not fully reborn until every breath, every moment of every day, you are experiencing that water flowing through you, and you're not fully baptized into the fire, through the fire, until that spirit is just another, like, everything you do is infused with that spirit. And it's only natural that everything's going to move when you expect it to move. So I hope that helps somebody understand what it means. Baptism, being born again. You literally are recreated, renewed. The earth is going to be recreated, renewed in that same manner.